back from the break here talking about fat loss specifically. Folks, you don't want to lose weight. You don't want to lose muscle. You want to lose fat. If you lose muscle, ladies especially, you're going to look like olive oil straight up and down. And women are always afraid of the muscle, Tom. But,
yes.
When you eat right and you do it right, like we're talking about, you're sparing muscle, losing fat, and that's our biggest challenge. So we talked about the frequency of the meal. Tom, I say about every 3.5 to 4 hours roughly. Smaller meals is kind of the way I educate my people on. So you're eating about 5 meals a day. And then the size of the meal, again, it goes back to these smaller meals. I had a country boy the other day, I was giving a lecture, and I said, your meal size should be able to fit, you cup your hands, should be able to fit in your hands. And he said, well, I can stick about 6 biscuits and gravy. I can balance it. It's not the height here thing. I mean, you're talking about a rounded portion, about the size of your stomach. And then in turn, the ratio of your meal, Tom, and we talk about proteins, carbs, and fats, and we talk about the importance of those. You have to have, in order to be healthy, all 3 of those. It does not do you any good to cut out any of those groups as far as weight loss is concerned. Now, if you're having specific problems, I guess protein digestive issues or kidney issues and things like that, probably need to watch your protein intake, carbohydrates with blood sugar and those type of things. But as a whole, you and I both agree it goes back to, and you've been through the whole diet game and all the different extremes, we've come back to like a good plate lunch, basically, like your grandmother used to fix you in small amounts, right?
I haven't been through the high school in like 40 years, but anyway, remember the old trays, they had little divots, and that's where the lunch lady knew to put
size,
each
portions,
thing.
portion control.
And like you said, you had a good example. So your meat is the size of your palm, and then your starch should be the size of your palm. So if you eat this much potatoes, you ought to have that much bread.
Right.
So there goes that. And then your vegetables ought to be double that, and your fruit ought to be like one of those.
There you go. Good point.
I mean, those are all fine. But like, ladies, if that sounds like too much and you're in shock because we're talking like this, because you're not used to eating, if you start exercising, that won't seem like that much. Do you remember Michael Phelps that won all the swimming?
Ate 15,000 calories a day?
Yeah.
How do you eat that much? I don't know how you even eat that.
You and I and all of our friends couldn't eat that much together.
In a day?
Yeah, it's impossible. But anyway, and he looked very trim, did he not?
Yes, because he was burning it off.
He was burning it off.
So it goes back to, again, we talked about exercise in this program. Find an exercise that's real simple, folks. And I get this question all the time. I like to work out. You don't have to go in the gym and yell at the dumbbells like I do, and there's a lot of dumbbells out there, by the way. What you do is find an exercise, Tom, that you like to do, that you will not give up on, and that you can do on a regular basis, about 30 minutes a day, about 3 or 4 times a week, folks. That's it. You really have to get no more elaborate than that. So it's about the diet exercise game. Again, folks, the one thing I try to educate my people on, Tom, and I know you know this too, is the fat itself. You can't diet fat off. You have to burn fat off. And the only way to do that truly is through exercise. And then again, ramping the metabolic rate. How do you ramp it? Small meals, frequently throughout the day, the right proportions, not too much sugar, not too much fat, the right proportions, like a computer entry. Do the right computer entry, right password, everything's perfect, and the body runs well. So, but Tom, as far as any last things to add to this, the water, of course, obviously.
Let's start with that water again.
Yeah.
So let's hit the water. But when you're doing the water, folks, you're dropping off your diet pops. Nobody ever really got that thin drinking diet pop that I've seen. So anyway, let's
because
hit
of what
water.
It does.
You can have some coffee and green tea, and there's different things that says green tea will help you speed that up and all this sort of thing. But I would do that, and then I would do some mild to moderate exercise. Don't make it intense. It's funny, it's January, and I've already got so many people that are so sore. They're on their New Year's resolution. And they're just like dying, and I know they'll be gone by next month. I mean, and so I'm trying to scale them back, but their enthusiasm is getting away with them. But it's the same way with dieting. If you could just think about modifying and the changes that Todd and I are talking about, if you could change something, that is not a diet. That is how you're supposed to go.
It's a lifestyle
So
change,
you will
exactly.
lose if you're heavy. You will gain if you're thin. And that's my last bit of advice.
Absolutely perfect way to wrap it up, folks. So again, if you need any more information, see me on the web at my website, betterasuage.com is a good place to get a hold of me. Of course, Tom always spreads his magic in his office. So folks, we appreciate you joining us here on Understanding Your Health. Join us next week when we talk about the quality of your food. The quality of your food is is extremely important, folks. We'll chat more about that and how it affects the body. Join us next week.